Hi everybody, we're back in Kingston, Missouri. The last time that we were here, we were over at the county courthouse. There's a historical marker to see there. It talks about the fact that after the Saints left far west, the county seat became Kingston. And I just found out that one of the 8 witnesses is buried here, John Whitmer. So we're at the Kingston Cemetery, and I have not yet been to the gravesite. So I think I know where it's at. I think I kind of see it from here. But it's just amazing to me how many of the witnesses are buried here in Missouri. So you've got the 3 witnesses. You have Oliver Cowdery, that's buried in the Richmond Pioneer Cemetery. And then also in Richmond, but in the Richmond Cemetery, you have David Whitmer. I don't know where Martin Harris is buried. If you know, let me know in the comments below. And then you have, I think like 5 of the 8 witnesses that are buried here in this part of Missouri. So in the Richmond Pioneer Cemetery, you have Jacob Whitmer, along with other members of the Whitmer family. At the 8 Witnesses Monument in Liberty, you have Christian Whitmer and Peter Whitmer Jr. Let's see, and then I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, then we have Hiram Page. He is buried near Excelsior Springs. And then Joe Smith Sr. is buried in Nauvoo. And I think also, who is it? Samuel H. Smith. He's buried in the Smith Family Cemetery at Nauvoo. And I'm probably missing somebody, but yeah, I didn't know until just like the last day or two that John Whitmer was buried here. And here it is. This is his gravesite. He was also the first church historian. So let's take a quick walk around. I like this. It almost looks like a fountain. Over at the 8 Witnesses Monument, you have this large monument that talks about Peter Whitmer Jr. and Christian Whitmer. It also marks the location of the disbandment of Zion's Camp. It also talks about the first stake presidency and stake high council in Missouri. I was actually just yesterday trying to record a video there, but I kept messing up, and then it was just too hot and my GoPro kept overheating, so I couldn't make that video. But while I was there, I saw a name that I recognized among the members of the High Council, and it was my great-great-great-great-grandfather, Levi Jackman. And I had no idea that he lived in Missouri. My dad had told me about him. I knew that he was part of Brigham Young's vanguard that entered the Salt Lake Valley on the 24th of July of 1847. I knew that, but when I went and looked at his life sketch, which is like 42 pages long, it talked about the fact that he actually lived in Jackson County. He lived about 10 miles west of Independence, and he was part of the Saints that were driven from Jackson County. But anyway, I digress. So I like the headstone at the David Whitmer gravesite because you have the Bible and the Book of Mormon on top. At the 8 Witnesses Monument, you just have that monument that talks about all those things. The Hiram Page gravesite, it's just to the side of this dirt road that's near Excelsior Springs, and it's really neat. I'm going to do another video there, but I've already taken one just without commentary. The Far West Stake, they've, I guess, financed some of the historical markers at the Hiram Page site, and also at the, we'll come back to this in just a second. at the Hiram Page site, as well as the David Whitmer gravesite. And then Jacob Whitmer and Oliver Cowdery, there's not much there. You do have the 3 witnesses monument, but anyway, I have to go back there. I think I saw somewhere that Oliver Cowdery's grave is actually marked, but I haven't seen it yet. But I was looking at this one website at a map, and it seemed like somebody had located it, so I'm gonna have to go back and verify. But geez, sorry about my shadow being in the way. It's the wrong time of day, I guess. Let's go ahead and read this. John Whitmer, 27th of August 1802 to the 11th of July 1878. And then Sarah Maria Jackson Whitmer, 13th of October 1809 to 15th of October 1873. This quote-unquote honest, truth-loving man and his family played an important role in the Mormon movement. One of the 8 witnesses to view the golden plates, believed to be the source of the Book of Mormon, testified to the truth of the Book of Mormon the rest of his life. First church historian, 1831 to 1838, and careful steward of important documents. A member of the Missouri Church Presidency from 1834 to 1838. So I'm assuming that's referring to what I was just talking about, the first Missouri stake presidency. David Whitmer was the stake president. My great-great-great-great-grandfather was on the High Council. And I guess, I think it's saying here that John Whitmer was part of the stake presidency. Helped found Far West, Caldwell County, where the family continued to live following the 1838 expulsion of the Mormons from Missouri. Erected 1999 by John Whitmer Historical Association and Missouri Mormon Frontier Foundation. Okay. Well, I mean, probably not this like headstone right here, because this looks pretty old. Older than 1999. But yeah, this for sure. What does this say? Can't quite make that out. This looks like it says, I don't know how to pronounce it, but there's a city here in Missouri called Chillicothe or Chillicothe or something like that. And then there's something else here. It says like well, almost like it says Caldwell, but I'm not sure if that's what that is. And then you have, let's see, John O, son of John S. M. Whitmer? I don't know. It's hard to make out. Well, this back here definitely says John Whitmer. 1878. Nothing on this side. Okay. Wow. This is really neat. And, you know, I keep finding these places that don't show up in a lot of these like historical site websites. It makes me wonder, like, what's the next thing gonna be that I find here in Missouri? And I would highly encourage you, if you're coming to Missouri, if you're coming to winter quarters, if you're going to Nauvoo, you're coming to Iowa, go to the description box of this video or any video, going all the way back to the beginning of my channel. Go to the description box. I have a link for a spreadsheet as well as a map, a Google Earth map, where I am pinpointing exactly where these sites are. And this one will be my newest addition. Like, I have the exact GPS coordinates and street address, wherever applicable, the name of the location. So in this case, this is the Kingston Cemetery, so that there will be no way that you won't be able to find these places if you use my spreadsheet and my map. And my goal, which is a pretty lofty goal, I want to try and make it the most complete listing of church sites and the most complete map of church sites, at least for Missouri. I think that I can do that. Going beyond Missouri, I think I can get a lot of the places in Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, and depending on how far this channel goes, it may go beyond that. We'll just have to see. But like I said, there's been many other people and organizations that have compiled a list and maps of church sites, but so far I haven't found any that have everything, and I want to try and do that if I can, from the most well-known to the least known. And it's so interesting because when people come here, they'll go to Richmond and they'll mostly be aware that Oliver Cowdery is buried there, and then they'll mostly be aware that David Whitmer is buried in the Richmond Cemetery. And then if you happen to walk around and you see the Whitmer family plot, you'll see a little marker that says Jacob Whitmer is buried here. He's one of the 8 witnesses. But I'm not sure how many people are actually aware of that. And then, you know, just with these other 8 witnesses, Hiram Page, I don't think a whole lot of people know. They mostly just focus on David Whitmer and Oliver Cowdery because, I guess because they're one of the 3 witnesses. But I feel like these other witnesses also deserve to be recognized, and so hopefully I can help with that. So if you're in this area, if you're in the Midwest, please, you may think that you know where everything's at, but you probably aren't. I'm not trying to like talk down to you, but there's just so much more here than I think most people realize. And so maybe go take your family, take your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, and track down some of these places that you haven't been to before. And then of course, if you're coming from out of state and if you have the time, use my map and my spreadsheet as a resource. I think a lot of people come here, they see the main sites thinking that those are all the sites, just like I did when I came here for the first time. And time permitting, come check out some of these other sites. It's a really pretty day. It is hot. It's in the upper 90s. I wouldn't be surprised if my GoPro dies any second, or overheats, I mean. But okay, I am really happy about this find, and we'll see what comes next. I'm also going to go back through and do all the sites that I haven't done commentary for, because when I started this channel it was just going to be no commentary, but I decided that I should probably do it. So don't worry, I'm going to go back through, I'm going to do all the sites, and then I'm going to do them again and again and again, and you know, maybe we'll see things change over time. Like, I was blessed to be here in Missouri at a time when there was the dedication of the Charles C. Rich cabin. You know, there may be more things that happen with some of these church sites. Okay, that's gonna be it for this one. Check out the description box and click on the links for my spreadsheet and for my map. I'll talk to you guys later.